We're here with Bigtree, who needs no introduction. He is the man when it comes to vaccinations, one of the headline speakers here. Dale, thank you very much for being with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So the vaccine controversy is now blew up into the mainstream. Yes. Everybody's talking about it. Are we winning? What's the status with the effort to have safer vaccines and no mandates?
I think the fact of what you just said is proof we're winning. I mean, when I started on this, when vax came out, April of 2016, this idea of vaccines potentially being dangerous and harmful, nobody wanted to talk about it. People were getting ridiculed in their Facebook groups if they brought it up. Now we are sitting in a situation where mainstream media is reporting on the potential danger of rushing a COVID-19 vaccine or warp speed or all the things we're talking about. CNN, ran a report that I thought you just grabbed my own talking points off of our website at ICanDecide.org. This is exactly where we wanted to be. Remember that when I got started in this, and look, there are people that came long before me that have been at this for a very long time. I think that I, in many ways, got to ride on the shoulders of those people that built the foundation for this conversation. But over the last 4 years, we have seen an explosion in this discussion. And the pillar of the pharmaceutical industry's, reality of vaccines was vaccines are safe and effective, period. It was like this mythological idea. If I put that on a billboard driving down the road and just said, drugs are safe and effective, nobody would drive by that and think, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, like every drug, even ones that haven't been approved for safety, right? Your brain, your critical thing would say that's not possible. Yet they had achieved that with vaccines. They had achieved this idea that pharma actually makes a product that is no dangers to it whatsoever. So now when we find ourselves in this pandemic, the greatest gift that there's ever been was it forced the world. In many ways, I think this pandemic was designed to try and promote a vaccine program for the world. I've been warning about that at every Red Pill I've been at over the last several years, but they launched too early, right? I think they jumped the gun for many reasons, because we were growing, because this idea of vaccine risk and vaccine hesitancy were so prevalent, they needed to try and stop it. And so my thinking is that this pandemic was planned, but it wasn't planned to happen this year. I think they were hoping for an Ebola or something further down the road that would be more deadly, and they needed to have a vaccine ready to go. By jumping the gun and really forcing a pandemic on the world without a vaccine ready to go, what they did was now the world is watching the sausage being made. Now for the first time ever, they're trying to have to get through phase 1, 2, and 3 trials while we're all watching. And what are we seeing? We're watching AstraZeneca get shut down. We're seeing reports of everybody getting sick in the Moderna vaccine group. And so now the language has changed. Right now it's like, well, there could be, well, these are known side effects. They're okay side effects. You have, mainstream media saying, wait, hold on a second. We're talking about transverse myelitis, paralysis in the AstraZeneca group. These things were happening with every vaccine, but no one was ever watching. I've been out there for 4 years trying to say you've got to recognize that when you look at the trials, these things are not safe. Now the world is asking the right questions, and guess what? We will never return to a space ever again where pharma will get away with saying vaccines are safe and effective. They have now cracked the door based on their own hubris and ego, trying to make a vaccine in front of the world, and it is blowing up in their face. And the big pro-vaxxers like Peter Hotez and Dr. Paul Offit that promote their own vaccines are saying we are making the biggest mistake of our lives. We cannot get behind this vaccine. If it causes any damage at all, it's going to destroy the vaccine program. For someone like me, that means we are now in the catbird seat. We're everywhere exactly where we want to be right now.
Excellent. That's wonderful to hear. And so what's next for Bigtree, and what's next for the movement to expose some of the issues with vaccines?
Well, I mean, for me, I just stay focused on the work that my team's doing. There's so many great other nonprofits out there, whether it's Bobby Kennedy and Children's Health Defense, or Sherry Tenpenny. So many people are working on this issue, but my biggest thing is the high wire. I mean, people will say to me, when are you making your next documentary? I say I do it every single week. Every single week I have a 2-hour show now. I wish it was 90 minutes or an hour, but by the time we get to Thursday, there's so much to talk about. So people aren't watching the high wire, then I would say you have to do that. If you are finding yourself all alone in this world, none of this is making any sense. You're thinking, how could this mask possibly work? I feel the air moving past my eyeballs. How is it walking to a restaurant, wearing a mask from here in the 20 feet to my, to the booth, that somehow protects something, and then I take it off? I just saw a great meme that said, walking 10 feet with the mask on to a booth that's 20 feet away and then taking the mask off is the same as having a urination section in a swimming pool, right? It's the same thing, right? people who are reasonably thinking through this are saying, what, am I crazy? No, you're not crazy, but you need to go to the high wire so you can start getting the facts. We have now an international body of scientists that are working for us. We have a gigantic legal team that has now won lawsuits against government health agencies, National Institute of Health, CDC, FDA, Health and Human Services. So people will read headlines about me, Del Bigtree spreads misinformation. I said, yeah, you should try to win lawsuits against the government of the United States using misinformation. We are a serious threat to an attempted takeover of the world by a really sick set of people and messed up principles. So I'm staying focused on the High Wire, which is our weekly talk show every Thursday, 11 a.m. Pacific time. Just go to thehighwire.com. I'm asking people to sign our email list because YouTube just took us down. After 3 years of broadcasting on YouTube, they just took our channel away for no reason. It's obvious, we are not sharing the mainstream perspective, and now that mainstream accepted that social media, we'll just leave it alone. Now they recognize it's a problem, right? They own television, pharma owns television, they own 70% of all the advertising. They are dictating what your news anchors are saying, but they weren't dictating what we were saying in social media. And so now what are they doing? They're buying up social media, they're kicking everybody out that's telling the truth. So I just want people to go to thehighwire.com. You'll always be able to watch our show there, but I also want to be able to let you know when I'm going to be speaking live, where I'm going to be, what we're doing, what the future is, or what new platform we're on so that people can find us.
Excellent. Dale, thank you so much. Folks, this man here is the real deal. Go to thehighwire.com, sign up for the emails. Social media is getting tough on everybody, including us. So, Dale, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.